The feminist poet Katha Pollitt once said, "Like Broadway, the novel, and God, feminism has been declared dead many times." So where is feminism today? 21st century Western women are caught in an identity tango as they're pushed and pulled to define their multiple roles and negotiate their gendered identities. Similarly, feminism itself has gone through an identity transformation over the last century. Gone are the days of suffragettes and bra burners, and in their place we have actual women leaders. I went out to see how today's young Western woman identifies with and thinks about the modern feminist movement. I interviewed 18 female exchange students from 12 countries in Europe and North America while studying in Hong Kong. They ranged in age from 19 to 26, with diverse backgrounds, majors, and interests. Their insights capture a glimpse into the diverse state of Western feminism today.
I don't know if I would call myself a feminist because I still believe that men and women play a certain role in society. But I would say I have some feminist values. Like, I believe that men and women should have equal opportunities in all cases. Like, my real passion is to be a mother. Like, just have a mother instinct. I don't feel like it's my responsibility to do that, or it's like that is what the social norm is, or that is how, like, or because I was raised that way, that's how I have to do it. It's just, that is what my passion is. That's what my heart feels, is I want to be a mother.
I don't want to be taken for a job because there is a rule who said we need to take a woman. I want to be taken because I have, the skill. I know that I can do that, and I will do it in my way. But I will do it as well as man, but in a different way because I am a woman. I don't consider myself as a feminist because I think that in the feminism there is an idea of fight. But for sure, in the way I speak with people, in the way I will raise my kids, there will be the idea that for sure we are women. We are different than men, but we are able to do the same thing, not in the same way for sure, because we are different and complementary. But yeah.
Feminism, to me, overarching definition of it is just that a woman should have the right and the ability to choose whatever lifestyle she wants for herself. Like, to me, an empowered woman is a woman that says, I want a family and that's the career, like I want to be a homemaker and that's my career, or a woman that says, I want a high-powered position, I want to be a lawyer, and the ability to choose between those things and pursue your passion, that's empowerment, that's feminism to me.
Would you consider yourself a feminist?
Absolutely, of course. I don't understand why feminism has such negative connotations to it. I think that everyone should be a feminist, personally. It'd be such a huge accomplishment. If I was to be in a CEO's position, it's going to mean a lot more to me than it is to some man, because the reality is it is much more difficult for a woman to be in that position.
Oh dear, I'm totally not feminist at all.
What do you think they stand for?
Women rights, that's what they tend to say. I think that women should have an equal job as guys do too. Not like, I don't know if you noticed in Hong Kong, but women work in construction. Yeah, so obviously that's not normal in Europe. So I'm sure many feminists fight for that. Because, I'm sure there's girls around that want to do jobs like this, or I wouldn't myself. I'm not saying women are not good enough to do that, but I think because we have to take care of the family, so we can't give ourselves 100% for the job, where guys can. And some girls just can't accept the fact that sometimes guys can achieve more in life than girls do.
We have a woman on top of our nation, and I love her. And I think men appreciate her as well. But the problem is, when she became chancellor, I found that so mean, because she doesn't look like, she's not pretty, like she doesn't put on makeup or like fancy clothes. So everyone made fun of her. Like in the media, it was all over the place. Like when she was on holiday and she bent down, like you could see her cellulitis.
Yeah, cellulite.
It's so mean. Like, who cares? She's a politician, it's about politics. It's not about how she looks. It's just stupid. Like that people still believe like, okay, women should be the pretty ones and like they should take care of themselves. But I mean, who cares? In a top position as a politician, it's about what she says, like what she stands for, and not what she looks like. I think it's still like the male ego that he has to earn a bit more, at least, that she shouldn't be more successful than him. I think that's not changing in the near future. I think we're on a good way. Like, I think societies are changing. Like, I've never encountered that someone like, doesn't take me seriously just because I'm a girl.
I like the thought of my husband mowing the lawn and me in the kitchen cooking, because it's almost like it's the natural like nurturing mother inside a woman to like cook and create things and to nurture children.
Would you consider yourself a feminist?
Not at all.
Why not, even though?
Because if everything was different, say if women were being paid less or something like that, then I'd probably be a different person. I'd probably be fighting causes and everything, but because it's not an issue anymore, then I guess I can't call myself a feminist. But I do stand for women in the same job roles being paid the same. That should be right. So I guess you could say I'm a little bit of
many women don't want to be in big position because they're afraid of that. Because they think maybe, they don't trust in themselves and they think men might be better in that, so they even don't try it, you know. It's pretty hard for women today, unfortunately. There is the stereotype, you know. The woman get the children and have to stay at least a couple of years at home, and then if she really wants to, she can go back to work. But you know, I'm the kind of woman who say I really want to stay with my children the first years.
Norway is very, equal based, like it's very equal, and I definitely need someone that's able to respect that. I'm trying to reach, senior or partner levels in an organisation, and that I don't want a kids right way. Like I want to wait and be able to respect my wishes in my life. It's of course very important for me. Yeah, in some way, subtle feminist somewhere, but no, it's not that I need to vocalise it in any way. But I'm definitely standing up for myself if people, looking down at women or looking down at the opportunities that I have in life, what I can do with myself, I'll definitely speak up, but it's not like I
know that men and women are different, but they can still bring exactly the same thing to a marriage and to a family. For me, in Sweden, it's more about like that men can do good and that women also can do good. And for me, I wouldn't try to separate it that much into men and women and think about it too much, because then there will always be like people will get a little bit better of it.
Would you call yourself a feminist?
Oh, I wouldn't.
How come?
Because I'm seeing like people more from who they are. Like I don't like to judge people for being man or for being woman. I don't want to make that comparison. I think it's more interesting to see people as human beings. That's more inspiring for me.
And gender definitely has a lot to do with how we are, because we have estrogen and they have testosterone. We automatically have different hormones. We have to make decisions differently because we have different priorities. The only way to be equal is to have an attitude that you're equal. And I don't mean the boastful, obnoxious feminist attitude. I don't think that won't persuade people if you're like that. It's our job
to know ourselves the best we can, so men will treat us the way we want them to be treated.
But now I guess people feel like you don't need to fight anymore. It's like a lot of people think that we're equal now, it's fine, you don't need to fight anymore, even though we're still not equal. I don't know, right now I think a lot of people see feminists as ugly women who can't get laid. I think a lot of people are feminists, but we don't really have a movement anymore. We had that like during the 70s when we like really had to fight for it.
Yeah, I think feminism is about valuing yourself as a human being rather than just a woman. But I also think it's about recognising that we are different to guys, and yeah, fine, we're equal, whatever that means, but at the same time, there's pluses and minuses of being a guy and pluses and minuses of being a woman, and I don't think it's healthy when people try to make it seem as if there's no differences.
Do you think you call yourself a feminist?
No.
No. How come?
No. Because I just don't really define anything or most things I do in terms of being a woman. I kind of just define what I do in terms of being a person. I don't know if I really need to call myself a feminist.
Well, I'm not feminist. Feminism, women try to be stronger and dominate the men, to do everything for, like themselves, something like that. And feminism is about like we are equal and like I'm strong enough, I can do it myself, something like. But we need the help of men. We should like women. It was born like women. We should take care of children. It's like, you know what I mean. We have our own mission, and mostly I also believe that in family, like men should earn more money and bring more money to families than women. Of course, I can be stronger. Of course, I can do it myself. Of course, if I want, I can go and concentrate on my work, for example, education, and earn more money if I want. But it's just some kind of, if I like person, for example, I just want to make him happy, maybe.
No, it is not equal. They maybe have different role, but I think there is never like that is being expected from women and that is being expected from men. So I think of course they are not the same, but it should be equal. It should be fair discussion between them who is doing what or something like that. Yeah, I think it's like more it's expected that you enjoy cooking, or you should have an image that you enjoy cooking or are able to cook well, but I don't see difference between men and women. Men also, maybe there are even some men in Czech Republic which would think that if they say that they like cooking, they are losing their man face, so they would never say that, for example. Yes, I have very positive attitude to feminism. So partly I'm in, yes. Not in any extreme, but I would call myself feminist.
In my head, I would have thought kind of by now it would have changed. I think just in the workplace, it's just kind of, I don't know, men will always have an upper hand, and just men and women approach things differently, and that's just how we're built, how we're wired. Men like that challenge of trying to figure out how something works or building it, and, you know, being a man and, and all that. So I think that while the numbers might go a little more towards evening out, I think the fields that are dominated by one gender will always kind of be that way. In my friends' relationships that I've seen, I think that the guy should definitely be the pursuer of the girl. I think it's an 80-20. You know, the guys have to be the pursuer 80% of the time, but at the same time, the girl has to, you know, show interest in the guy's, you know, his hobbies, and be excited about what he's excited about. And
Do you call yourself a feminist?
Depends on whose definition, because I mean, as I've said, like for workplace wise, I definitely want more of
more equality and be our opinions matter just as much and all of that. But I see like my family views as a little more traditional, and so I feel like in that regard, not as feminist, but I definitely think that there's some validity to the movement of it.
Would you call yourself a feminist?
Probably not, no. I call myself very realistic, probably. And I think a lot of women today are too obsessed with looking what is the man doing and how are the others reacting and do I get this position? Well, sometimes the man is more qualified and sometimes you are more qualified. So I think that's all. Men want to make you feel being equal, and most of the men don't see women as as not equal, or at least not in Western countries. And I just think they want to be nice, and they often don't see that by doing this they might make you feel uncomfortable or not at the same level as they are. But I don't think that men have the intention to proclaim inequality or anything like that. And I feel women have much more of a problem in accepting being equal. I think many women don't see themselves as equal.
For example, my mom and her feminism, she's like the type that, you know, I don't need to wear makeup or wear high heels just to please men. I'm like, well, yeah, but I think that I can wear heels and wear makeup, but I don't have to please men. And I think it's quite patronizing towards men. You know, it's just to presume that all the men likes that women are wearing high heels. I think that I am a feminist, but I like to think myself as this postmodern feminist, perhaps. And I don't know why every woman should call themselves a feminist. I don't know. I don't see the harm, and I understand the stereotype of feminist is like this radical feminist who wants to eliminate all the men, like at the late 60s and 70s. About explore a bit more about feminism and its history, and realize that modern day feminism is not the same thing as it was at the late 60s.
The views of these women allude to a chaotic state of Western feminism. There appeared to be no one cohesive opinion about the current state of feminism, nor did there seem to be one type of girl that identified with being a feminist. Geographically, there were some notable trends. Most interestingly was the point made from several women from Northern Europe who did not consider themselves to be feminists because they did not want to segregate genders by calling attention to differences. This begs the question, does denouncing feminism mean the movement has backfired? Or is it actually progress? If the goal of feminism is true equality, then refusing the title would actually be the ultimate form of feminism. Of course, there are many women scattered throughout these continents who rejected the title because they valued gender differences so much that feminism to them was fighting against nature. But these women also talked about wanting a career before a family and respecting other women's opinions to choose their own careers. What was frequently demonstrated was the shift from feminism as a movement to feminism as a framework. Most of the girls talked about the ideologies of feminism and mentioned how things should be, but very few talked about doing something about it. Addressing inequality through consistent actions versus loud protests was a more likely response. The bottom line is that feminism is clearly not dead. It may have taken on a different form or have its title rejected, but the knowledge of feminist ideals is still very much alive. Not every woman applies the title to herself, or sometimes she adorns it based on the situation, but that doesn't mean equality is ignored. Whether it's through policy, culture, or mindset, most of these 18 women know women's roles in society will continue to evolve. This snapshot of feminism, according to the Young Western Female in 2011, demonstrates the many directions feminism has gone and can go.